Welcome.
And we're back
to what is this? What is the show?
This entertainment.
Is This Entertainment podcast? You're listening to the Is This Entertainment podcast with your hosts Ben Owens and Jacob Miller. Myself.
Heyo,
Hey.
we did it.
Okay. But we just saw
The tragedy. Mandalorian episode 6.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it and stay to the end because we're gonna talk about how we think Baby Yoda saved Star Wars.
Truth.
All right.
Truth.
So Tython, Planet
Yeah.
Tython. What do you know about Tython?
Planet Tython. Okay, so what's fun is with each one of these that we record, I reveal that I'm a little bit farther along in watching the cartoons, right?
Right.
So I'm now done with Clone Wars.
Okay.
Sidebar. The final 4 episodes of the Clone Wars are better than half the movies. Everything Darth Maul does, like,
Yeah.
seeing the internal struggle of a character through a cartoon, that's magic right there.
It's
That's
genius.
magic. And they did it with both Maul and Ahsoka.
Yep.
The cinematography, do you call it cinematography or do you call it animation? Whatever it is.
Well, they still have
It
to choose the
was-
shots, so I guess you can call it cinematography.
Right. It was beautiful to look at.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful to look at. It was a great button. Now, I didn't know so much going in. So there is, like season 7 is really kind of all over the place. There's the
Yeah.
the clones that are a little off.
Oh, the Bad Batch.
The bad ones.
The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch, yeah.
Mhm.
So there's the Bad Batch episodes.
Yeah.
There's the Ahsoka in the underworld, and then we jump into the the final 4 episodes, and all of a sudden, Ahsoka's aged up by like a year.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, some things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I finished that. It was amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And then now I've started Rebels and burned through season 1 pretty quickly.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm so excited about this.
So now I just watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So Vader's in the mix.
Yep.
Inquisitor 1 is already dead.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert for anyone who was planning on watching that. And Ahsoka's back, which is awesome. And her design in Rebels, I'm not totally on board with just yet, but getting more attuned to.
Yeah, they changed her. She's aging up. Yeah, and season 2.
She's aged up a little bit. I feel like the animation style of this show is more angular. So I feel like, and she, her character design is more angular. I guess.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Season 1 was very more kid friendly than season 2. It starts to get really,
Yeah.
it gets serious.
Yeah, they realize where their bread is buttered.
Yeah.
The adult 35 to 45 range.
Yeah.
That's who's really watching Disney
Just us.
XD in 2015.
That's right. I purchased all of them from Amazon back when they came out because I didn't have I didn't have cable, so I just purchased all of them.
Man, that had to be a pretty penny.
Yeah, paying $20 for a cartoon when you're 30 something is
Rad.
slightly embarrassing. Okay, so let's get into this. So we're going to Tython. Did they go to Tython in? I think they did actually. Is
Clone
that
Wars at the end of season 1 of Rebels where they go into the giant mound-looking temple and Ezra talks to Yoda for a minute, and so does Kanan talks to Yoda for a minute?
Was it the same one as Darth Bane? Because I think they actually. Here's what I think happened. I went and read. I just Wikipedia'd this, and apparently Tython was mentioned in Legends, and that's where Darth Bane was on the planet he was on at some point. In Legends, it was the Temple of the Jedi, spelled differently, and that's where they had a Force school and learned the ways of the Force. And there were 3 factions of the Force. So there was the good Force, the dark side of the Force, and the Bendu, which is the middle way. So parts of that are no longer canon because a lot of it was from the novels. Filoni brings back the Bendu. I don't know if you've seen him yet in Rebels.
Nope.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting. So it's like the first Jedi temple before the actual Jedi. Before they turned into Jedi, it was Jedi with an AI. So we're there.
Yeah, there was no, the episode got straight to it. It was somebody told him to go to a planet, and then they just Went straight there.
Well, they had the little chit chat with Grogu. But yeah, we were there.
Right, but there was no like side quest.
Yeah, no side quest, no getting caught up on the way. We're already there. Yeah, the ship didn't.
It was
break
a little
down.
refreshing.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, and we're just here.
Oh, good.
We're just here.
Yeah, the ship
and
didn't
then
break
like
down.
it became pretty apparent like halfway through the episode. It's like, oh, we're gonna stay here.
Yeah.
Cool.
A lot of story came out of this episode. I was surprised since it was so short. I was like, a lot of stuff happened.
Well, a thing happened 2 weeks ago, and then, or I guess a week and a half ago, with the last episode, where I was scrolling through Twitter. This was on Friday night, and I knew I wasn't going to watch the episode. This is the Ahsoka episode that I was going to watch, and I wasn't going to watch it until Saturday. And I'm scrolling through Twitter, just as I got 10 minutes before I'm supposed to, take the chicken out of the oven, whatever, and freaking Ming-Na, one of my favorite actresses. Loved her on ER. Yeah. Big ER fan right here. And she's like Grogu and Ahsoka and this other thing. And I'm like, oh, and Thrawn. So like, boom, all three, like right there, get spoiled with that episode. And I'm like, well, I know what to look forward to tomorrow when I watch the episode. But, look, you got to give it 24 hours. Yeah, you got to give it 24 hours.
So you got spoiled again. Did you go on Twitter?
So on Friday, I'm like, well, I'm literally planning on watching it Friday night. So I'm like,
right,
we're going to be in great shape. And sure enough, Ming-Na retweets. And that's the other thing. She wasn't tweeting it. She was just retweeting it that somebody else put out. And I'm like, come on. So I had to unfollow Ming-Na.
Wow.
And like, don't get me wrong, like 2 episodes for like when the season's over, I'm going to hit that follow button again because she's a fun follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
But you gotta give 24 hours on them spoilers.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's too soon.
There are rules.
Yeah. There's simple etiquette to this. I think television, 24 hours for sure. Yeah.
Somebody we know actually spoiled the Game of Thrones finale for me.
Oh no. Who was that? Or should we say? No.
Oh yeah. So I had to unfollow Ming-Na because she's
a spoiler.
She's too quick on that.
She's too excited.
Retweet.
Well, you have to think about it. Like she's been waiting forever to talk about this, and so finally somebody posts something. She's like, "Oh, retweet! I can talk about it now."
Yeah. She's like, "Oh yeah, I can talk about it now." So here we go.
But
and I'm promoting the deal that I'm in. But it's like, come on, like
just 24 more hours. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm asking.
Or be a little bit more subtle.
So for this episode, she spoiled what?
It was character art for her character.
Oh, so you knew she was not dead.
So I knew she was going to be in it.
I see.
Which wasn't as bad as like name dropping Thrawn and Grogu and Ahsoka, but
right. Okay, so speaking of Grogu, so we get Mando doing what we would probably all do.
I spent the whole week, occasionally, saying Grogu to my wife and her going, huh? It's doing that back and forth. That was a lot of fun. So the fact that they opened the episode with that exact thing,
pretty clever. Yeah. Something about Din's laugh was a little weird. It's like,
yeah, it's like a giggle. I think they're trying to mix it up. Like it's hard to show. You can't show any facial emotion. I mean, it's essentially voiceover.
Yeah.
So
you have to think about like this is really his like only real joy he's had is from this guy,
right?
Grogu.
Yeah, not a joyful life, that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, have we ever seen him laugh before? It's like Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec when he gets that giggle.
Never.
Did you watch Parks and Rec?
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get into it. Yeah.
Skip the first season. Watch season 2. It really hits its stride at the beginning of season 3. Back to the Mandalorian.
Yeah. So what I was a little bit confused about is he flies in. It's like, we're gonna have to take the jetpack route or whatever. And then,
that was adorable.
Did he land
great.
Did he land the ship, or did he just the ship auto park, or that was weird to me? Like,
that's a great question. I don't know. I don't know.
They just left it out. I mean, I think he probably had to land it first.
Probably.
I don't know, but it was a fun edit, I guess. Yeah.
And, look, we don't have time. We don't have time for We gotta get things moving.
So straight to the rock, like straight to the stone, and he's
Straight
like,
to the stone.
like,
How do you turn it on?
Is there a switch for this thing, or what?
Yeah. Where's the power button?
Where's...
Do you just plug it in and it turns on automatically?
That was great.
Yeah, he walks away trying to figure out how to get the thing to work, and then Baby Yoda's just like feels it. It starts going.
Yeah, and what is weird is like, I don't think we've seen this before in Star Wars. This is a new
this is a new thing. This is a totally new thing.
We've never seen that he couldn't get to him. He couldn't go through the force field.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was like a ray shield or something.
Yeah, yeah. So he couldn't get through it, and it knocked him on his ass. And then Slave One
coming out of nowhere.
What did you wet your pants? My wife was like, what is that? I was like, I already knew. I was like, oh, that's Boba. You know?
Yeah. So Slave One is just similar enough to the Razor Crest, I feel, to where like I had a second of like, wait, is that? And then I was like, yes, it definitely is. Yeah. And then there was like it could be somebody else in there. Because I don't know, maybe because if Boba Fett had access to Slave One this whole time, why is he still on Tatooine?
Right.
Maybe it's because that's where his armor was. Who knows?
And why is he just now going to get his armor? That's what I don't understand. Why didn't he just take it from Cobb?
Right. You had ample opportunity over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I don't have that like visceral connection with Boba Fett. Like when watching the original trilogy, Boba Fett was like kind of an afterthought for me. Maybe it's because my earliest memories of him are like of actually understanding who he was just him getting knocked into the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
So in my mind, like, you know, I don't have that like I watched Empire and here's this silent badass who, you know, is the only person who tracks them to Cloud City, takes Han Solo with him. Like all of that stuff, I'm just kind of like, yeah, he was just a bad guy because maybe I was just young enough to understand only that. But because by the time I was like conscious enough to watch these movies, it's not like I had to wait 3 years between Empire and Jedi. It's just like, yeah, that's the guy who just gets like knocked into the jetpack and his jetpack sends him into the Sarlacc pit, and then that's it. So
do you remember when the Sarlacc pit wasn't like alive? It was just a hole in the ground.
Right, it was just a hole in the ground. Yeah. And then they changed it for the special editions.
I missed the hole in the ground version. Like every time I watch the special
honestly,
edition, I get upset. I'm like, why did they put gross stuff in there?
I don't mind it. I think probably because I didn't really truly get into Star Wars. Like it was always a part of like, it was always out there, but I don't think I certainly didn't watch all 3 films in a row from beginning to end until the special editions came out, because then I was like, okay, I'm going to watch each of these movies in theaters. And that's where it like really solidified some things. And I was probably like 12 around that time, 12, 13, 14, something like that.
See, I watched Return of the Jedi on repeat before all of the special editions. And like, I love that version. And the special editions, they make me cringe. Like that hokey bar song and everything.
The hokey bar song I fast forward through. Yeah, that's a bit much. But like the Sarlacc pit, I don't mind so much. You know, adding the occasional, you know, digital animal in the background
for no reason,
I don't mind so much.
Yeah.
The Jabba scene in A New Hope, I don't mind that so much.
Oh, really? I can't. Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I don't mind it. It's all part of it to me.
Yeah, I mean the second time we never
owned the VHSs growing up.
Okay.
So the first copy of Star Wars that I owned was the special editions.
Okay.
So So I don't mind them.
Gotcha.
I'm not a purist in that sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean it's apparently what Lucas wanted. So you know, cheers.
You know, dudes earn the right to tinker.
Yeah. So we got Slave One. And out walks Boba in native garb in what is it? What are they called? The Tuscan Raider garb, kind of.
Yeah.
With the Tuscan Raider weapons.
Yeah.
And
I didn't immediately register that that's what that was. I think it was like yesterday where I was like, oh, that was the thing that the Tuscan Raiders have. Okay, yeah. I was
Which
just
makes sense because he's on
what
Tatooine.
a badass
right?
staff he has,
Right.
That's
No,
it.
he's on Tatooine, and I guess he's been fighting the Raiders and stuff.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to find out like what in the world has that guy been up to.
Well, I think we're gonna find out. Apparently, there's a show
I'm for it.
Spin-off show is gonna be one season, like a one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's been
Cool.
announced officially, so we'll see a season of Boba. I don't know if they're going to go back in time and explain things, or if they're going to go time jump or what. I imagine they'll do probably a time jump and show before and after. So we have the a Mexican standoff of sorts.
Yeah.
Directed by
Robert Rodriguez.
himself. Yeah, so he has done the Mexican standoff before, probably quite a few times. This is another version of that with Ming-Na up there, the baby Yodes. So what did you think of the standoff there?
Oh, I thought it was cool. Obviously, there's going to be like a conflict, and then how all that gets resolved by just. And now we've got some Imperial guys here.
Yeah, it's a bigger problem. Yeah,
it was just like, okay, well, we can figure this out later.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
it's just the premise that he's there for the armor is weird because like he should have got it already. You know what I mean? Like you said.
Yeah.
But maybe he
Absolutely.
only recently lost it. Maybe he had it for a minute and then recently lost it. That would
Right.
make more sense.
Yeah,
Like-
or maybe just like maybe he's been out of commission for a while, and maybe the Tuscan Raiders had him for a little bit, and he was like embedded with those guys. Maybe he didn't know that the armor was with Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
And-
something happened. He lost his armor, and the
Jawas had it.
Jawas.
I found it intriguing. Are you a real Mandalorian? From Mando, and kind of questioning Boba is like, do you deserve to have this? Because maybe it's not supposed to be with you. And then him having to explain, well, it was with my father and all that stuff. And like, really wasn't until
just now
later
that we found that out. Actually, that there's been no reference to this before, so this is all new news that Jango was actually a Mandalorian.
right, and that he fought at the Battle of Mandalore. Is that true?
So the Mandalorian Civil War, I think, is what they said. So there's been a lot of wars on Mandalore.
Fair.
Yeah. Oh, and so, yeah, I know we're just now getting into it, and we'll get into more of this episode. But for people that are curious what we're up to and you want to know all the time, you can visit isthisentertainment.com and
isthisentertainment.com.
sign up for the email list. And
We got an email list?
Yeah, it works now. You can hit the sign up button and you'll get signed up. And eventually we'll send out an email to some people. And also, if for some reason you want to start your own email list, we use GetResponse, and we'll have a link for that in the show notes as well. So the Tuscan Raider stick,
Yes.
that's where
The
I'm at.
weird staff thing.
He gets really murdery here in this episode. He's
Oh boy. We've never seen
stormtroopers get
Stormtrooper
wrecked.
armor just get demolished, like with chips flying everywhere.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that armor is good for.
Right.
They've always said it's better for like physical fighting, not so much blaster fire. And then
Oh yeah.
yeah, but I mean that's a pretty hefty stick he's got there.
Yeah. It's got that weighted
And
And-
the end of it. Yeah.
and I'm sure when you get a lot of swing behind it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just gonna get effed up.
And Boba Fett, he's a pretty stocky fella.
Yeah, I mean he's the warrior that they decided to clone for everything. So
Right. Yeah.
or the son. What is he? He's
Right.
He's
no, he's
a natural clone of Jango.
A natural clone. Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty violent. I think this is why they got Rodriguez to do this episode. Is so he
Yeah.
can
No,
do
it
this.
was very. That was my other Rodriguez thought was of how physically violent and up close it was. It was like that's definitely his style. So at the end when it showed directed by Robert Rodriguez, it was like, it makes sense.
And two, the where they were, the actual surroundings were not like the digital thing that they mostly do for all the other episodes. They were actually in a location there, which is awesome.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, like you said, Rodriguez's style, I think, is a lot of those type of locations.
Right.
And I don't know why Mando, why does Din keep trying to get Yoda out of the force field and he gets knocked down and he should know
But he
better?
doesn't-
Why does
He
he do
doesn't
it?
once say his actual name. He doesn't say Grogu. I think if he had been like Grogu, he
wait.
would have been like, huh?
Huh?
And then he'd be there. But no, he
trying.
He just kept trying to run in and
like
grab
after
him.
the second time getting knocked the F out, you would think he'd be like, I should just let him force field away over there. But no, he goes for the third time. But the second time, he gets knocked out cold. And Ming-Na and Boba Fett take everybody out. They take the whole garrison out.
Dude, Ming-Na's badass, dude. She was shooting people. She did the Raiders of the Lost Arkstone. That was cool.
I don't know.
Watching that dude get flattened by that.
That was cool. Awesome. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is dumb." Like they're just gonna, and then the payoff was sweet. It was sweet, and her jumping off of she jumped backwards and was shooting people. That was nuts, man.
Oh yeah,
awesome. And like
she did that like jump back kick.
Yeah,
flag out. Oh, that was rad. Yeah, badassery from both of those characters. So who's Yoda talking to? That's the real question.
That is the real question, and the more I think about it, maybe Mace, because it would be more interesting if Mace shows up, because Mace murdered Boba's dad in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But then again, that would be it's maybe they don't have enough episodes to go into that, but there are 2 more episodes left, so maybe or it could.
But of those 2 episodes, they're gonna have to get Grogu back.
Yeah, and a lot of it. Yeah, a lot of explaining.
So
too.
Whatever.
What do you think, Luke? Have you seen the Sebastian Stan photos?
Oh, I did see the Sebastian Stan photo. I think that's pure speculation. Honestly, I think it.
I don't know why they keep leaking them. That there's more than one. Like there's several photos of him like photoshopped as Luke, and he looks dead up like Luke, and he's in the Disney Marvel world.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's on the payroll. They already have his W-2 locked in.
He's already signed the waiver.
Right. He knows how to keep his mouth shut.
I don't know.
But then they'd have to pull him off Winter Soldier.
So you don't think?
Because isn't that filming right now?
Yeah, I mean, you can film more than one movie at a time. I mean, just come in and shoot an episode, right? I mean,
right.
How many?
And, I don't think he's going to be around a whole lot.
Yeah.
If it is Luke, I don't.
Yeah, he would just be like, it would be like one episode, and then they would be like, what did you guys think of Sebastian? Like, they would want to know. It would be like a test to see what.
Yeah, it would be, is this a backdoor pilot for something else?
For episode 7. Right.
No. No, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
The real episode 7. Yeah.
Nope. Episode 7 happened. No, JJ did it.
I'm in denial.
I think what's going to happen is it's going to be like the last possible second of the episode. It might even be an after credits like snip of who he was talking to. I think. You
don't think he's going to come in and help fight? Like, because we know it's going to be the last episode's got to be a team up, right? To like take over Mandalore or whatever. Or do you think it's just going to be getting Grogu back?
I think it could be just getting Grogu back. I think you might need, you might need Cara Dune, Carl Weathers, Bill Burr, evidently, and Ahsoka and Bo-Katan and her 2 people. You might need all of them just to get through these Dark Trooper guys to get Grogu back.
Yeah, speaking of Dark Troopers.
Are they droids? They look like droids to me.
So I think what's happening here is they're putting like human brains in Iron Man costumes.
Okay.
Like Darth Iron Man.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's like it's a brain controlling a droid body.
Yeah, I think that's what I gathered. But maybe they're 2 separate things. Maybe the Dark Troopers are droids, and whatever Moff Gideon's doing with the Yoda blood is something else. I don't know. But to me,
yeah. So the Yoda blood is being used for the Dark Troopers, probably.
Right.
So then, what does that make them?
They're like force robots. I mean, he obviously has an obsession with Vader. I mean, I don't think we've talked about that very much, but like he's got the whole Vader-y outfit going on.
Yeah, he's got the pack of Sudafed on the front.
Yeah, with the red light.
Maybe it is more of a Vader-y thing where it's like that's just the torso of a dude, but the arms and the legs are mechanical.
Yeah, it could be that. Like literally,
that's what Vader had going on.
He's just
with some Grogu blood in the mix for a little extra spice.
And then they've got the Iron Man feet for some reason.
So Grogu falls asleep after communing with whoever. And I gotta say, that puppet falling asleep on that rock was just the most adorable thing ever. Super cute. He's just like, oh, I'm so tired now of talking to somebody, and it was great. conversation. I'm just going to lay down on this rock and get stolen.
Yeah. I think it's weird that Mando put his jetpack down. Like, that was a weird ask.
Right,
like,
yeah, they're like,
hey,
you put your jetpack down.
Put your jetpack down. Don't put your gun down. Just put your jetpack down.
Right.
Like, what? Why?
Yeah, that was dumb. That was a dumb move. And the second shit went down, you should have been like, pause. Let me go grab my jetpack real quick.
Exactly.
That
should be the first thing you grab. Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even think
Speaking of jetpacks, we get redemption for Boba Fett's jetpack missile situation.
This was a weird edit because it should have maybe shown him sneaking into the ship to get the jetpack. Like, this episode was short. They could have had like a little bit of like Boba running into the ship to get it or something. Like, you know.
I don't know. I think that maybe like gives away the reveal too much.
Yeah, but it was like, wait,
because I wasn't full. I don't know that I was fully expecting him to walk out with the gear on.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I wasn't even sure it was him. Honestly, I was like, what was that? Did he?
Right.
Because it was like a weird cut. It was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely him.
But then he comes out with, the traditional Boba Fett gear and gets real effective at murdering people.
Yeah, even more murdery than he was before.
Yeah. And then blows up the 2 transports.
With the rocket.
That was rad.
We got to see the payoff of the rocket.
And I was aiming for the other one. That was a good line.
That was a great line. I wonder if they put that in later, like... if the animation department like blew up the wrong one first, but they had already done the animation for the other one, and then like they had to put the line. Come back in. We're gonna add a line. So we don't have to redo this animation.
Yeah. Here, just put your phone. Yeah, put your phone real close, and we'll just record it over the phone.
Yeah, it sounds the same.
Oh, there was the line, the callback line to what his father said to Obi-Wan, of just a simple man trying to make his way through the universe.
Yeah. He says rad. The same line. I don't know. That was kind of hokey though? No.
No, I felt like that was on brand. And again, anything that ties in the prequels, I'm for it.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I want synergy.
I literally watched Attack of the Clones last night, and with my wife, and she's like, "Oh, it all makes sense now." I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does make sense." Yeah,
that's great. That lightsaber fight between Anakin and Dooku. Phantom Menace, you have this like outrageously effective lightsaber duel between Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon. And it's, Ray Park is just blowing it out of the water. And it's technically great, like martial art fighting with weaponry, right?
Yeah.
So going into the next movie, you're not going to top that, No. So having it be this like through the shade, the light of only the lightsabers, the red and the blues off of their faces,
right,
between Dooku and Anakin. I love that fight scene. Love that fight scene. You
loved it? It bothered me a little bit. I was like, oh, I can't see anything that's happening. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh no, I thought it was like an artistic choice that paid off well.
What I did like was the Yoda absorbing the lightning and then
that was cool too.
That was dope.
Yeah, we need more explanation for how the lightning works.
Really,
it was a dance, man. It was a beautiful dance.
Before we get to Grogu and the Grogu rage, I think we should do our last commercial. Look, I'm not a financial expert by any means.
No way.
And no zero way. But I did sign up for Webull, and I did get a free stock. And if you sign up for Webull and you deposit just $100, you'll get at least 1 free stock. And sometimes they have a deal going on where you get 2 or 6. So
do they pick the stock, or do you get
it's random. And you get a random free stock, and just go to isthisentertainment.com and look at the show notes of this episode, and you will get a link to that. Sign up for Webull. It's really easy. There's no trading fees or anything like that. It's really easy to buy stock and sell it as well. And it doesn't take very long to set up. A couple of days maybe to verify your bank account, and after that you're good to go. So definitely do it and get your free stock.
I gotta tell you, I've been in the last 5 months since this whole pandemic situation, I've purchased a couple of stocks, little one-offs, just like one here, one there. And I tell you, waking up in the morning and then just, hitting that stock app and seeing like, oh, I made 13 cents today.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything. It's pretty rad.
It's nice. It's nice to see. And then two, for those of you that don't know about dividends, that's just money they pay you on top of the stock. So you want to find stock that has like a good dividend return. And like I said, I'm no expert, but I know IBM pays about 5% every quarter. And if you add that up, that seems to me a lot like almost 20%. which is pretty good ROI. So that's what I've been.
Look at you! Look at you! Using terms.
Math.
ROI. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, but look into it yourself. Do your own research or whatnot. But definitely sign up, get the free stock. You can always cash out after you do it. Back to Grogu. What did you think? The freaking cut to him just wrecking stormtroopers.
Yeah, that was it was definitely a little scary. A little bit like, man, don't make Grogu the bad guy.
Yeah,
Don't let him turn to the dark side. I don't want that.
That was like not kind. He was definitely showing.
He was toying with them, and pretty sure he murdered 2 guys.
He was showing a use of the Force we haven't really seen unless somebody like Vader is doing it, like just chucking guys, like Vader in
Rogue One
type fighting, just throwing them into the walls and each other, and then Force choking. We haven't seen a lot of that.
I think long term, I don't think Grogu is going to be a Jedi. I think he's going to be more of like a Mandalorian. I think that's what we're headed toward. Like him really kind of, I don't think we'll go full blown like him with the code, but living that like bounty hunter lifestyle.
He's a foundling.
In the long term.
Yeah, he is a foundling.
Right.
And he has a severe attachment to Din.
So yeah, I think he's gonna have a little bit of that badass to him.
I could see.
So maybe he shouldn't be trained as a Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Ahsoka was right the whole time. I mean, if he's this murdery, just a little, I mean, he did get kidnapped in his defense, and
it's true.
It's
true.
I feel like that's a pretty fair response to getting kidnapped. But if he's that powerful in the Force, it makes me wonder why he didn't just chuck the Dark Troopers off, or maybe they're, maybe that's the whole reason why. Maybe they are Force sensitive, the Dark Troopers, and so.
Oh right, yeah. If they've got some of his blood.
Yeah, so that's like their way to fight him back or whatever. Yeah, and then Moff Gideon just walks in, and he's like,
no fear.
Just let him do his thing over there.
Send some more guys for him to murder.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Then he shows him the Darksaber.
Yeah,
he's like, hey,
yeah.
I know you've seen lightsabers before. So he seems to know. He knows he was in the Jedi Temple, right? He knows he was being trained as a Jedi.
I think so. Yeah, I think there's Moff Gideon knows some stuff. He's more knowledgeable than we are probably led to believe.
Yeah, he's just like, you've seen this, you want it, ha ha ha. And then
do you want to play with my lightsaber?
He tries to grab it. He tries to grab the saber. Like you saw, he reaches out, and there's even the Force sound effect and everything. And then set it to stun, and then baby handcuffs.
Baby, tiny baby handcuffs.
I guess you need those.
You gotta have them.
Yeah.
They're like, did they have to have those specially made? You think, or
yeah, I'm sure they're like
do you think
Force-proof handcuffs?
Right. Do they just have handcuffs of all shapes and sizes because there's all kinds of aliens and whatnot?
Yeah.
Like if you got Babu Frick, he's gonna need tiny handcuffs.
Teeny handcuffs. Yeah, you've got a variety of handcuffs for like different races.
You probably have extra small. I bet their version of small is what we would call extra small.
Right.
And then, there's probably
do they have like critter?
extra small, smallish, medium, large.
You know what? They probably
large.
They probably use the metric system. They probably
extra large. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Just they go by millimeters.
Yeah, we're gonna need a 0.5. Yeah. Okay, he's probably a 0.5.
Yeah.
Our hands would probably be like a 3.
I don't fucking. I go by inches. I don't know.
Well, that's not the metric system, Jacob.
I'm not in the Star Wars universe. That I know of.
All right, Speaking of which, we gotta figure out what parsec is. We gotta figure out what parsec is.
Our parsecs are probably metric.
Parsecs are a real thing, but I think they're used incorrectly.
No, they actually fixed it. I think they corrected it in Solo.
Oh, you think?
That they are actually a measure of distance. So they used it correctly in retrospect. Yeah. Are we Googling parsecs right now?
Welcome back to Two Guys Googling Stuff. A parsec is 3.086 times 10 to the 16th meters. So
metric
not
system.
Metric.
That is
it's
metric.
Not metric, because otherwise, if it was metric, it would be divisible by 10.
I see. So, but they use meters. I see. So it's the Star Wars system. It's a galaxy far, far away system.
If you just type in our parsecs, it says our parsecs time or distance.
Yes.
Thanks, Google. All right.
Thanks a bunch. I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed there. A measurement of distance.
Look, if you're listening, hit it, and you know the answer, put a comment.
Yeah, please leave us a comment. We need those. We're
Leave us a
desperate.
comment.
We're desperate for comments at this point. So
All right. So things that we need: parsecs. What unit of measurement is the Star Wars universe using? Continue, Jacob.
what were we talking about?
The Darksaber and getting real murdery, and then so then Mando goes down to
The Mando planet.
where Cara Dune is.
Yeah, he went back and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Cara? I need
she's
to
like,
find Bill
"Look, I
Burr."
just signed up with the New Republic, so I'm not trying to like break any rules. And then he's like, "They got the kid." She's like, "Sign me up."
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we're going after the kid, and they need Bill Burr,
Yeah,
so that's fun.
Of course.
Wonder what info he knows.
he just knows how to track Imperial cruisers, apparently. So I guess the next episode is going to be like Bill Burr, breaking Bill Burr out of prison,
Breaking him out, and then tracking the ship.
tracking the ship. So we're not likely to see who the Jedi or whatever, or maybe we will at the end.
I
Whoever.
don't think so.
How is that? So
Unless maybe that last episode, if we get another like 45-minute episode, that'd be rad. I wouldn't kick that out
I
of
could
bed.
use a 45-minute episode right now.
Tell you what, man, watching Rebels and the Clone Wars as a fun like bridge, you know, between Mandalorian episodes is nice. And then because it's the holiday season and evidently that's when Star Wars is always on TNT. Like before I like get ready for bed, I'm flipping around. Like last night ended up on Rogue One. A couple of nights ago ended up on Solo. Rogue One is so good, man.
It's all right.
So good.
What do you
feel
like
like
the most about Rogue One?
It's definitely a movie that was like, look, yeah, these are typically kid movies. This one is going to be a little bit more adult.
Okay,
Because everyone's going to die.
true.
And then the Vader murdery scene is awesome.
Yeah, but it's not
Alan
really.
Tudyk
It wasn't
as-
really like.
Alan Tudyk as the droid he's hilarious.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, the Kyber crystal and like seeing kind of like slightly force sensitive people, but who aren't Jedis, and kind of how like they're on the spectrum, if you will. I just thought it opened a lot of things up, and it got the tone right for being like as a part of like that like New Hope timeline. It got all of that right. Visually, it's a great movie. Ben Mendelsohn, is that his name? Director
so.
Krennic.
Yeah,
I thought he was a solid villain. I would definitely love to see more of the deleted scenes to see what it was like before. I feel like they cut a lot of Saw Gerrera out.
right.
I feel like they cut a lot of young Saw Gerrera out. So I'd like to see some more of Forrest Whitaker
Yeah.
and his interpretation of that. I just thought it was incredibly strong.
It definitely had the right tone. Like the tone was on the nose.
And they brought Peter Cushing back from the dead.
As cool as the Vader scene was at the end, I don't know that they needed to do that at all. Like, because it had nothing to do with the rest of the story.
I feel like we never really get to see like in the original trilogy. You only get little snippets of Darth Vader being.
Vader,
It's more implied that he's hella murdery.
right?
And-
Than actual murdery. Yeah,
Right. Like, yeah, he'll force choke a guy, apology accepted. But you never see him just have this like outrageous power. Yeah, this like force power. And that was the first like real display of that.
that's true. I mean, we got to see the Vader that we always wanted, but just as far as
Right. I
as
think,
far as
yeah.
integral to the story, however you say it, integral to the
However you
story. I don't know. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like a huge plot device, certainly.
Right.
But I also think Vader as a character over time has gotten more and more watered down because, well, I mean, he was a protagonist for 7/8 of the prequel trilogy. And then they use Vader on like all sorts of like products and stuff. And it was getting to a point where he wasn't considered a villain. And I think like in the social consciousness, I guess, amongst people. So that scene really kind of brings it in and says, no, this guy was ruthless, a ruthless murderer, just a rage monster.
You make an excellent point. I mean, it was good to see it. I wonder if if we'll see Vader again in the upcoming Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, they could definitely be some like ships passing kind of a thing.
I mean, they could tell the story from two different points of view. They don't have to do it the same way they're doing Mandalorian. It can be like, oh, Vader's off doing this thing, and Obi-Wan maybe need to go catch him or try to stop him somewhere or something.
Right? Like, playing that long game.
Yeah, protect Luke by being on the offense, maybe.
I know there's one thing that we wanted to talk about is how good the music is for this show in general. Maybe we disagree.
We might disagree.
Maybe we disagree. Okay, so for the scoring of the episodes, I don't pay that much attention to it, other than like occasionally you'll get like little whiffs of prior Star Wars themes. But I think the actual like Mandalorian theme song that plays for the end credits song,
the oboe. Oh, the one at the end. Oh, that's dope. Yeah, the one.
One at the end.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's very Star Warsy. Yeah,
dude, that one bangs. Yeah, I'm here for that song. Like,
yeah, I love that. I'll actually listen to the end credits every time.
I will listen to the end credits all the way through because I'm just like whatever it is. Of course I can't think of the actual melody right now. So good. Yeah,
that's great.
It gets me jazzed up, man. And
it reminds me,
and the artwork too.
It reminds me of the opening crawl in Star Wars. It gives you that like feeling that that epic,
that
like,
grand,
something awesome
feeling
is about to happen or just happened.
Yeah.
In this case, but what I would say about the Mandalorian music is like it's a little one note. It's a little like the whole thing. And like that's it.
I don't know.
Like
I feel like it has that like Western feel. That's part of it. Gives it that like old school, that old school Western vibe, which I like. Because it really has it's the lone wolf and cub.
Yeah, I mean it serves its purpose for sure, and it's definitely good music. I just feel like it could use a little more variety, like.
Right.
And I know like the whole story is Mandalorian and they want to stay on the Mandalorian theme, but like they got to mix it up a little more because it's to me like I just every time it cuts to the action scene, okay, this is this version of the music. It's like every time it's I'm just hearing it over and over, and I know it serves a purpose, but for me I just want a little more like variety since we have to keep listening to the same thing.
Right. So you want the Jabba's Palace special edition version of the digital lipstick frog looking lady
thank you.
song.
No. What I'm saying is the guy that did the music for Rebels and Clone Wars, I think he was dope. Like he really
that music was incredible.
He took what John Williams did and made it his own, like, but not really his own. I mean, it fit. It sounded like John Williams, and then like he did his own versions of themes for like Ahsoka and whatnot. And I think we even heard his version of Ahsoka's theme in the Ahsoka episode, in the Jedi episode.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking more along the lines of the music of the Clone Wars, like the scoring, because since I'm watching all of these things at the same time,
right,
it is all kind of blending together in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Mandalorian music is all kind of one note to me. It's like the dun, 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 like just over and over and over. And like, I just wish it had more variety and like, and maybe it has to do with just the number of other characters. Like, he's a good composer, so he has to make a theme for each character. But I don't feel like they really explore the themes of the other characters or enough. And maybe it has to just do with the editing. It's all Mando, and so there's like, well, I'll just play the Mando theme again. In which case, like I said, maybe just like different versions of the Mando theme would be better. That's my only gripe. Is like for me, it's too repetitive, but for probably the average listener, they're not noticing. All right. So we did originally because of a comment that we got. We decided we would talk about how Baby Yoda has saved Star Wars. Grogu?
Yeah, I think to our, I believe I mentioned this in one of the earlier episodes, but I feel like a lot of people's excitement for Star Wars waned after The Last Jedi, which is dumb because The Last Jedi was phenomenal.
Oh, come on.
So you've got the people who were mad at the end of The Last Jedi because it didn't, according to them,
Well, they kind of
they
they
didn't do Luke properly.
Yeah, they kind of messed him up.
Maybe a little bit of racism with Rose Tico, and
the story was like on its own. Like I said, on its own, it's my favorite movie. But in the Star Wars universe, it kind of broke it a little too much for me.
I liked the idea that it was like, all right, what are you gonna do now? Third person, Colin Trevorrow, now JJ. Either way, some people were not happy after that movie.
Yeah.
The question was whether or not The Last Jedi Rise of Skywalker was going to, redeem all of that. And then here comes The Mandalorian dropping right before, 2 months before The Rise of Skywalker comes out.
Right.
And I think the idea behind releasing it in October before the movie comes out in December was, all right, we'll throw this out there and then hopefully it'll ramp up to The Rise of Skywalker. And what I think happened was it was so good that it completely overshadowed The Rise of Skywalker to the point where the positive reviews for the Mandalorian and people being excited about something Star Wars related. There was so much excitement behind the Mandalorian, and then when The Rise of Skywalker came out, there was not the same amount of enthusiasm and excitement over it. It was really just kind of like, that some people liked it, some people didn't. It did fine financially, but was it the perfect button for a 9-movie saga? Not a chance.
Not even.
I think that's why I think Solo not doing terribly well, like for a Star Wars movie. Solo did fine as a normal movie, but as a Star Wars movie, Solo was not.
It wasn't $1 billion film.
And then Rise of Skywalker doing fine, but not having critical acclaim. I think that's why nobody's talking about new Star Wars movies right now. Yeah, there's some in development, but there's no buzz behind them. All the buzz is on the Disney Plus right now.
Yeah. Plus theaters are actually closed. I mean, everyone has abandoned traditional film releases at this point.
Quick sidebar. Let's talk about this. How do you feel about the news this week that Time Warner is going to drop all of their movies onto HBO Max same day as theaters?
I think this has been a long time coming. Everybody likes streaming. Everybody's got a big TV. Everybody has basically a theatrical experience in their house. You got a sound bar, or you got a subwoofer, or you got something, or you got a place you can watch a movie. You don't need to
I get Christopher Nolan's idea that his movies are made to be on a big screen, but I am at the place in my life where I don't want to go to a movie theater 9 times out of 10.
I like going to movies in the theater, to get that vibe, to catch the vibe, like when a new Star Wars comes out or something, or a Marvel movie.
If a new Star Wars comes out, a new Marvel comes out, I do like watching them in theaters. I like the experience of it, but
you're not going to get any vitamin D in a movie theater.
Nope.
No,
that's for sure.
That's
but honestly, I would rather go to a matinee. I'd rather go to a matinee at Baxter
and be the only guy in the theater
and be the only person there, or one of 7, because it only takes one person whispering during the movie to completely take me out of it.
Yeah, and that is another thing. True. Yeah, the last few times I've been to a movie, the etiquette has been terrible.
Yeah,
people
you get
are
some
horrible.
Teenagers who are just and
they're just chit chatting the whole time. I'm like, dude, bruh.
Yeah,
bruh, and they're like, man. What?
Right?
Shut the f up. Shut the f up, bruh.
So we're now the grumpy old men who
we are technically old movie to the point though. There's not.
It's a young person's game.
It's a young
movie theaters are a young person's game, and I don't need to be there.
That people are so afraid of the beer virus. You've got a lot of stuff going on. There are plenty of reasons to not be going to a movie theater right now.
But even if the pandemic wasn't happening, I would still be, because I'm not going to go to a movie theater for a comedy. I don't I love comedies. It's an art form that I've spent most of my life trying to perfect. And I don't need to see Will Ferrell on a big screen. I can watch that at home and it'll be just as funny. Now there is something about the communal laugh, which is nice.
Yeah.
Of you laugh more when other people are laughing, but sure. It isn't so essential in the way that I'm sure Tenet is meant to be seen on an IMAX screen where you can see every detail. I get it, but I would sacrifice that for
it's also like a laziness
home.
factor. Like, I don't want to leave the house anymore.
Oh gosh, leaving the house is
it's a pain in the
worst.
butt. Going to the grocery store,
Yeah.
who does that?
Mm-hmm.
Especially now, there's like, I don't shop at Trader Joe's anymore, but that line, holy crap, y'all are crazy. Yep. Like,
dude, the parking lot at Trader Joe's,
y'all are
specifically.
Nuts. You have to be a crazy person.
Yeah, it's. I don't have time for that parking lot.
You're going and waiting in line in the freezing cold to avoid catching a cold. Come on. Jesus. That's all I have to say about it.
So I'm super thrilled that I'm going to be able to watch Wonder Woman 1984 on Christmas night in the comfort of my own home.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
And
I think there were some
Matrix
issues.
4 and what was the other one that they're going to drop? Dune.
Yeah, and the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah, the Snyder Cut coming in
like
early
6
21,
parts or 4 parts or however many parts they got now. Should be good.
That's going to be ridiculous.
I'm excited about that because I was excited about the original version of the story. I was like, I remember watching it and like, where are all those scenes that I thought I saw in the trailer?
And then there's something incredibly intriguing about the word behind the movie, the original Snyder Cut, when the Snyder Cut was put together and it wasn't done, there were still visual effects that needed to be made and all this stuff. But the fact that several people came out of that viewing and said it's unwatchable, like, of course I want to watch that movie.
What do you mean unwatchable?
The reports out of like one of the first screenings with like the Warner Brothers executives, like separate people said it's unwatchable.
Wow.
I don't know if that meant it was too dense. I don't know if that meant it was just like the story structure was off.
And that's when they went with is that when they went
or
with
if it was just too dark? I just think like after that and after those viewings is when things started to kind of change. And I mean, obviously, I have no idea what was going on with Zack Snyder's personal life.
He lost his son or his daughter, his child. He lost one of his children.
Right? Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah.
And as far as like the timing of all of that and like how that coordinated, but it sounds like Warner Brothers wasn't. They were already bringing in Joss Whedon. There had already been enough like make this like a Marvel movie. There was enough of that already to where.
Well, they had changed regimes. They had changed corporate regimes. So the new regime didn't so much like Zack Snyder-y things or Ben Affleck, I don't think. And that's what happened.
Gotcha. I thought Ben Affleck was
he's the perfectly
Batman. Serviceable Batman and probably the best Bruce Wayne. I'm really looking forward to the idea of Flashpoint kind of just bringing everything together, bringing back Michael Keaton, going full multiverse, just get everybody.
And I'm hoping this like will warm people up to the idea of the Star Wars multiverse, and we'll get new.
Doesn't always have to be
Luke's.
The multiverse.
Well, I want a new Luke story.
Let's just have one multiverse. We'll just have one multiverse, and it'll be DC. They've earned it.
No. The Rise of Skywalker was so atrocious. It's like literally watching a train go off the rails, and you can't stop watching because it just keeps going and running over shit, and you just can't stop watching it. Oh, here's the next thing.
They resolved Adam Driver. You got to see some fun stuff. The Emperor came back. The Emperor came back in the novels, so it's not like it was that far off.
I just wish they had set it up better. Here's some text.
They should have storyboarded all 3 movies together.
That might have
should have had a team of people, right?
Yeah, you would think they would.
All right, we're going to give one to this director, one to this director, one to this director.
How did that even freaking happen? What meeting were they in where they were like, oh, you know what? We're just going to do one movie and we'll see how it goes from there. And then you can do the next one and maybe you can do the next one. Do they have to tie together? I don't know. Maybe.
It really puts into perspective how great of a job Kevin Feige has done with Marvel. To put together 30 movies that are like, there's like some tiny inconsistencies here and there. Especially, there's some stumblings early on, but now it's a pretty well-oiled machine and a pretty like well-oiled.
I just don't know why they didn't
take
their Disney. Why didn't they take notes from that guy? Like, why didn't they go, okay, we need a guy like this?
Well, he's signed on to do a Star Wars movie now.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, he's producing so here are the movies in production. Untitled Rian Johnson trilogy.
That's still a go.
That's still on the books. I hope it's Knights of the Old Republic. I think that would be cool. Taika Waititi has a movie, which I am 100% for, especially considering his episode of The Mandalorian was awesome last year.
Yeah, that was good.
And then Kevin Feige. I don't know how to spell it.
I think it's Feige.
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 That dude, Mr. Marvel, has a movie in production. That might be it. I know the Game of Thrones guys were involved for a second, but then I think they bounced. And then as far as Disney Plus movies or Disney Plus shows, there's Obi-Wan. There's
Boba Fett's official.
The showrunner for the showrunner for Russian Doll. She's developing a show.
Are we gonna get like two?
Oh, the Cassian.
Are they still doing
show.
that? Why hasn't that come out? And like,
production schedules are all screwed up because
it seems like
quarantines.
Such a story like this is not necessary. Like, I'm not even intrigued. Like the slightest. Like,
I feel like that was a strike while the iron's hot kind of a deal, and I don't know that iron's too warm anymore. Because I felt like the love for Rogue One was there, and if that would have come out a year or two ago, that would have been rad. But I'm living for this Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan movie or Disney Plus show.
Yeah, it's got to be good.
That has to happen. Yes, it just has to happen.
It needs to hurry up because
he was the best part. He was the best part of the prequels.
He was the best part of the prequels. He was the best part of the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah. Wait, he's in Rebels?
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Damn it. It's okay. It's all right. I figured he'd pop up at some point.
Yeah.
Vader literally just mentioned him. So
awesome. Yeah. Isn't it fun seeing Vader again?
It is. Yeah. It is.
I think I'm gonna have to rewatch Rebels because.
Can we talk about Chopper's voice for a second?
Oh God!
I know this episode is just getting longer and longer.
This might be like 3 episodes. Jesus.
I was expecting a droid voice to be cute, and it's really taken me a while to get on board with the Chopper's.
Yeah,
but now I'm on board.
Yeah, it's like they took somebody actually saying lines and then just effed it up.
Yeah, put it through like a. On the keyboard, the little pitch bend wheel on the corner. Yeah. I feel like they're doing that.
Yeah, they're doing something.
Or a wah-wah pedal.
Yeah, they're definitely tweaking that. Yeah, he's my least favorite character on Rebels, the Chopper. Yeah, he's really annoying. I don't think I ever really got over that, how annoying he is. So, yeah. That's why I said you can skip the Chopper episodes.
Right, right. Hey, but man, Freddie Prinze Jr. doing a bang-up job.
Oh, yeah. Kanan?
As Kanan, man. He's doing great.
It's good stuff.
Big fan.
So we've covered a lot this episode.
Oh yeah, we're all over the map on this one.
Shite ton. If you got any value out of this episode, or you think anybody else would want to hear two dudes try to talk about
two
Star Wars,
middle-aged white men talking about Star Wars,
go ahead and share it, or at the very least subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think, and if you have any questions or any of those things, do that.
Yeah, do all the things, like, subscribe. Give us some reviews, rate and review.
And coming up too, we've got some new episodes in the works, being edited, music episodes. They'll come out eventually. Album reviews and whatnot.
That's all I got, man.
We're only 2 hours in. It's got to be something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thanks again for everybody that went and checked out the show notes and signed up for the email list and got your free stock and all that stuff. Thanks for that. And we'll see you on the next episode. It should be next week, if not before.
Thank you so much, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I appreciate you. And
appreciate you.
Thank you guys for listening.